My name's Katie Covert, and I am here just today. You guys won't see me after this for any of your Cerner sessions. I am taking a Cerner certified training course, so I need to do this and record myself for all of this. A little bit about me. I am from upstate New York. I was born and raised there, so if you notice an accent, that's why. But when I get nervous or sometimes I just get really involved, I talk really fast. And if I talk too fast and you can't understand me, just let me know. I'll slow it down. So I came down here to VCU for college for forensic science. Graduated there and went back and started right in a forensic lab. Then I went to a pharmaceutical lab, then med tech lab, and all of that was training. And now I'm here. I've been here for about 3 years now. So it's been a lot of fun. Other than that, for personal stuff, I have 3 little kids, 7, 5, and 3, and my husband and I met at college. So yeah, just a little bit about me. What areas are you guys all going to be in? Just total? Okay. All right. All inpatient or all outpatient? Don't know.
What areas are you going to be,
Like
For intern year, we're going through different rotations, like GI, bariatric surgery. We're doing like neuro ICU, cardiac ICU,
okay,
water.
Yeah, the reason that we ask is that we try and let you set up your clinical note type depending on what rotation you're doing first, so that you can at least have that set up. And as you rotate, then you'll know where to go in to change your note type.
Oh, that's
So
smart.
that when you're generating your note, you have that.
we know your anesthesia residents.
So,
Where area?
yeah,
Yeah.
when it comes to that area, we'll just have you look for your specific note
Okay.
type at those doors. Okay.
All right, so if you guys are all logged in, and you're on your message center screen or your home screen. Yeah. So anyway, we're gonna start and show you how to choose the correct encounter when you're looking for a patient. If you look up in the right-hand corner, there's a recent or an MRN up here. So the first thing you can do is hit this little down arrow and it'll show you MRN, name, or FIN. You can search by any of those things. We're going to search by name right now. And I'm just going to type in PN test or test patient and hit enter, or you can hit the search icon, which is a little magnifying glass. And I have split screen, so give me a second to move this over. So when your search screen comes over, you will have this encounter search here, and it'll come up with all of the names that match what you typed in for the last name. So when you're searching, you always want to search last name first. So you can scroll down till you find yours, or you can put in more demographics on the left-hand pane that you may or may not know to narrow down to find your patient. So if I click on this one, you can see there's multiple encounters here. So this is your information pane, this is your encounter pane. And down here, there's active, there's a bunch of discharge, registration date, and then you can sort it by clicking on it if there's more that you want and you're looking for a specific encounter. We're going to choose the active encounter, so you can either double click it or just highlight it and click OK. Okay. Their chart is going to open up. When you're in their chart, you can make this full screen, or you can keep it as is. To make it full screen, obviously you just hit the full screen button. To go back to normal view, you can click normal view. Okay.
The encounter, searching for the encounter and finding the correct encounter is important, especially when you are documenting. Because it used to be that the system would let you just choose a patient, and if you didn't have to specify an encounter, and it would just randomly select an encounter, and people were dropping notes in wrong encounters. So you always want to make sure that you're paying attention to what you're opening.
Yeah. In borders and all of that too.
Documentation.
Yeah, just in general. Okay.
Just so that you know as well, on the top toolbar, you have task, edit, view, and patient. If you click on patient there, it'll also allow you to search. So you're going to quickly find out that there are multiple ways of doing something Cerner. It may show you one way, but you're more than likely going to find another way that you can find it. So,
Yes. So speaking of doors, when you do exit Cerner, don't click the red X. You want to click this little exit icon right here. Doing that saves all of your modifications and your customizations and everything that you've done. If you click out of here, it will not save it. Okay? That makes sense to you guys? If there's any questions along the way, please do not hesitate to ask. Okay? So the other thing that you can do to exit is, say you need to step away from your desk for a little bit, or the kiosk, wherever you're at, but you don't want to leave the patient chart up because of, PHI. You can go to this little power chart icon in the top corner, click on it when you're not in the chart. Sorry, click out of the chart first, and then hit secure session. And then that'll lock it. To get back in, you hit this little icon on the bottom, and then you can log back in. My thing is on the split screen again, so if this will come up, just type in your password.
Looking at X, I got the chart.
It does exit you out of the chart if you need to, if you want to, secure the session, but you want access to that chart again, you can keep the chart open. You just can't secure the session with the patient information data. So what you could do is you could maybe click on the home button. That'll take you to like a schedule or something, and once the patient information is on the background, then you can access that secure session.
So you said no one else can use that computer to access?
No, they can. They can still click on the Cerner icon from the desktop and log in.
Okay.
It's just that your particular session is locked.
Yeah. So whatever you're doing will be locked on there. Okay? Any other questions so far?
Well, let's say there's a scenario, like you lock it on a computer and then you don't come back to it.
It'll eventually close.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
It'll time it out. I think after like 30 minutes. It's time.
Yeah, maybe, sometimes it might be 15, depending on which program you're in. So if you come back in and say you have closed out of the chart and you didn't want to have to look up the patient name again or the encounter again, you can go to the recent and it'll be right there. And it'll open up to the same encounter that you were in before. Okay? So that's when you're going back in. So now we're going to start setting some filters for all of your things. This is where you're going to start customizing everything for yourself. If you go over to your menu chart on the side, so once you're in your patient's chart that you were in, find a patient, a test patient, what have you, go over to the menu and go down to results. If you can't find it, you can always click menu here and type R, and it'll go to the first R, and then you can keep going down and find results. Okay? Let me know when y'all are there. Y'all set? Okay. So from this screen, go up to options and go down to properties. Okay? Once you get there, click on the defaults tab, and you're going to want to set up all of your customizations to look like this and look like what's in your handout. Okay? So you're going to want to set your default retrieval type to clinical range.
So if you look at page 4 of your handout, it has the filters that we recommend that you set.
Once you're there, and then the 2 years, 1 year, back 12, all of this, and then you can hit save and OK when you're done.
Just it's not just for this patient.
Right, this is for all your patients across the board.
Yeah.
You can set individual filters for your individual patients, but then you'll have to set it for each patient. This just sets it across the board. So once you guys have done that, go ahead and click save. Yes, and OK.
Just to clarify, you guys use 12 up there?
Sorry.
Yeah, you use 12.
Yeah, that's fine. No, that's totally fine. When I did it, I probably had fat fingers. So thank you for telling me. Yeah, just do the 2. Yeah. Because, I'm human too. I appreciate it. Oh, that's fine. All right. So yeah, once that's set, Go ahead and hit save, okay, all that. So the other way you can change your calendar on here is this gray bar. If you right-click it, you can change your search criteria, which changes your date range, or you can just set it to today. So if you change the search criteria, you can change which ranges you want on here. But that's, again, per patient, and every time you open it up, it's not going to be across all of your patients that you open up, because that's just how you set it per patient. Okay? Any questions on all of that?
There's like a quick way to get it to go back to the default, you change it.
As today is the default, yeah.
Why would the default be the range?
Well, that is, but, yeah.
Is there a way to like maybe have like, is there a way to like switch back to that?
Hit back, on back button.
Oh, okay. Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yep, so he was asking, is there a way to switch it back? If you hit set to today, can you go back to your default settings that you just set? If you hit this back button right here, it'll do it. Right there. Okay. So go to your radiology and nuclear med results tab. And then go again to options and properties. And then again, you're going to want to set up your default tab, just like it is on page 5 of your packet. Now you have me checking to make sure I didn't fat finger these two.
Did they get you? They get you your password? Okay.
And once you're done with that, go ahead and hit save, yes, and okay. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing for the other diagnostics results tab. Click on that, go to options, go to properties. On page 6 is everything you need to set it up for on your default tab. Go ahead and set that up and then hit save, yes, and okay.
All right, so now obviously when you guys get out in the environment, these studies aren't working for you, you know how to change them, okay? Just make it to where you're flexible. These are just recommendations.
So yeah, once you do that, if you guys are all done setting those settings, go to your exit door so it can save your settings. Okay? And hit yes.
Wait. If you get this, just say, exit the application. Just kind of annoying, I think.
Yes.
Sorry, we should.
So click the first button and then the 2 boxes.
I'll never see that box again, all right?
All right, and again, bear with me with my split screen here. And then go ahead and log back in. Okay. Any questions so far on any of that?
So we're now on page 7.
Yes. Do you still want me to do this?
Now get rid, to ignore the schedule at the top of that.
Yeah, ignore
document.
step 8.
In some places, you just have to. You guys are rotating the ambulatory too, right?
No.
No ambulatory at all?
Nope, they're just doing inpatient.
Outpatient area.
None of those here.
Down this year, you're just all rotation,
Yeah.
rotating different inpatient areas and then last. I think it's paid clinic. Will be a paid clinic. PACE is ambulatory, so yes,
Yeah.
ambulatory organizer, so ignore the, on the top of page, whatever that we're on.
Page 7, ignore number 8.
Ignore that, ignore the schedule, and go directly to the ambulatory organizer setup.
Up here on-
PACE.
Up here on your toolbar, you're gonna hit home. And that'll bring you to here if you weren't already there. Okay? But this is your ambulatory organizer. If you click this little set of 3 lines in this down arrow, you're gonna get a drop-down box. Click on settings. Okay? So this one I did not set up just so I could do this with you. okay? You're gonna want to uncheck display facility right here. Okay, and then uncheck H&P note under reminders. Okay? And then if you scroll down this calendar scale, I would change that to 200%. Okay? And after that, go ahead and hit apply, and it's set. Okay, in here, you're not gonna see anything until you select a resource. Okay, so if you click on this resource selected, you can search location or position. Okay, so I have a location on here and a position. In order for it to show up, you have to click the box next to it. But if you go in here and say we want to search, you guys said you're going to neuro, so we'll search Dr. Ty here. You click on that, you hit apply, and his schedule will show up. Okay? Right, so you have to select your resource. And then you type in like put TYE.
Oh, I see.
Yep, and then click the box next to it and hit apply. And then it's gonna show up. So if you have an exaggerated view like you do, you can always resize it. No, just, yeah. And you can switch your filters in your view by up here as well with the day and the week. Okay? Yeah. Yeah. So every time you choose one of these resources, you're going to have to choose it again for each of these tabs, just so you know. So if you have on day view, you're going to see nothing until you choose your resource again. Okay? And then when you go to your calendar, you can see all of this as well. And you can, again, change it for day or week, or you can click on this little calendar thing.
Settings for each tab.
So your settings down here.
No, it worked for the steps.
Right, no, oh, I thought you meant these settings, like the resource. Oh, you meant this one.
No, those 4 tabs.
Yeah.
Up there working with.
Right, but the resource you have to switch for each tab.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Any questions on that? Okay, she's helping him catch up. All right, so now we're gonna go back to your patient. So if you go back to recent, you can go back to the encounter you were on before when you were looking at your patients. Okay. Click on power orders on your menu to the left. Okay, you might have to scroll down. So you'll see power orders right here. So the thing about this menu, see this little pin here? If this is bothering you and you want a bigger screen for your results or whatever you're looking at and you're working in over here, you can unclick that and it'll hide your menu. And you can just hover over it or repin it however you want it. So that'll help you out to make a bigger screen as well, unless you want to hit the full screen. Okay? So while you're in power orders, go up to view in this top toolbar. I'm sorry.
That's okay, that's okay.
That's totally fine. All right. While you're in power orders, go up to the view up here, and this down arrow will get you all the way down to the bottom of the list, and you're going to want to go to customize view. Okay? You want to make your list on your customized view look like the list on page 8. To do that, you highlight the ones on the right or the left, and you click add or remove to move them back and forth. Okay? When you're done with that, let me know. Do not hit OK yet.
You're on, medication list?
No, this is the power orders. Yeah. Okay.
You're done, you said?
Yeah, that's fine. We gotta wait for everyone else to finish because there's some, yeah. And so make sure you change your group orders by and the then by and all that on the bottom as well. Sending, the start, and everything. Okay. if you're working on an inpatient unit, you want to group your order by clinical category, your then by active, inactive, instead of if the way it was before. So there's a big note underneath your picture that says if you're on an inpatient unit, then you want to group it this way versus the way that it was originally. Okay? Then when you're done with that, go ahead and click OK. And it'll save it.
Can you show them, where are we, orders? Can you just show them the difference between clinical category, sorted by clinical category versus active and inactive? And I can show them if you want, just go back there for me real quick.
Oh, you mean back in the,
Yeah, go back to the window, customize.
yeah.
One thing I want to show you, like I said, so when you're using the power chart, if you like, can you just move this over so that you work that way? If you like using this navigator bar to go from admit discharge orders to medication to lab, and click lab and then labs pop up, if you like using this navigator bar, then you're going to actually want to group by, instead of active and inactive, you want to group by clinical category first. And I'll show you why in a minute. Right now, okay, clinical category, and then you can do active and inactive if you have a need to see an active order. If you don't have a need to see an active order, you don't have to have it, but just know that if you're looking for an order and it's not active, you're never going to see it there unless you change filters. Okay? If you don't, right now, so look at how she did this. So all the inactive orders are together, and if they were active, they would be all together. So that's when you would want to group first by active and inactive, and then by clinical category if you choose to. The other way around is if you like using this navigator bar, click and move to navigate the chart. Make sense?
Like, we're all gonna need to be active in and out.
Right. So you should, because you're going to do all orders, all statuses too.
Yeah, where that's next.
You're going to, so you would group by, I think, okay, so you group by clinical category first, and then by active and inactive. You're going to see admission discharge active, admission discharge inactive. Labs active, labs inactive. You can close the inactive ones and just see the active by clicking this little triangle. All right? But so it's a preference on how you all are going to be. But if you need to see both, it might be better to do clinical category first if you like viewing the chart that way. So if you want to view all active orders together, period, one lump sum, then just do active and inactive first. Okay? And then clinical category. If you like,
I know, I already did.
clinical category first, and then within that clinical category, which orders are active and which orders are inactive, then you do clinical category first. Okay?
All right. Y'all straight on that? Cool. All right. So the next thing you're going to do is to click on this blue filter status up here. And that's going to bring up this box. So you're going to want to click the down arrow, okay, to get this display. And then choose all orders, all statuses. All right. When you're done with that, hit apply.
Sorry, so I clicked on one of these on the left here,
Yes.
and at that point, I don't know how to get back to the like
Hit
original.
the back arrow to the left. Yep.
I just like, I would just think what those other options.
Question? Oh, you can't figure out where we are? So what they did up here, over here, so this is your filter for orders. So you're gonna click here, left click. You're gonna get a window open up and you're gonna get a drop down. You wanna choose all orders, all statuses, so you're gonna see all active and all inactive. And then hit apply. Okay, and then after you guys are done with that, if you just click the medication list tab right next to it, we're gonna customize that one. Well, similar.
Go ahead and click your blue bar at the top, and that drop down, click all orders, all statuses. There you go, and then go ahead and hit apply.
So when you guys get to medication, since you are mostly inpatient, except the base clinic, we are going to choose group by active and inactive first, because they don't get group by that medication.
We're there next. You're jumping. Sorry. You're fine. I'm just waiting for everybody to get where we are.
Anybody else have any other questions? While we're waiting, if everybody's ready to move on, should we move on?
Yep. Are you guys all ready? All right. Click on the medication list tab. I'm sorry. Nope. We're gonna go medication list. And then from here, you're gonna go back to view and customize view. So go all the way down to the bottom, and then customize view. And again, you're gonna wanna make this list look like the list on page 9. So just go ahead and copy it by clicking remove or add, depending on which side you're on. And again, you can also double click it to move it from one side to the other. When you're done with that, go ahead and click OK.
We also do group orders by,
Yes, it's the same situation if you want to do active, inactive, and then the clinical category, and then sort your orders by order name. You can choose one of the other ones if you want it sorted differently, if it works better for you, but this is just the recommendation.
okay.
Okay, so once you have that done, we're gonna, again, set this top filter highlighted in blue. Are you all set? We gotta go. Okay, so click this blue up here, and again, you're gonna change it to home medications, all statuses. Okay, and then click apply. Once you change this drop down.
Order by order name. Add order name.
Have you go back to that? I think you have to put order name. Yeah.
No, right there, yeah.
You have to have these same orders.
Ordinance for like,
But it is when,
Are you with ortho?
I am.
You're in a different group.
yeah, you're in
Okay.
107,
You can come up this way, because that's longer.
So yeah, you can
Little more
change the order on there with the up and down arrows on that box when you're choosing your different, let me get out of here and show you what I'm talking about. So if you go back to view, and go to customize view. These arrows, you can change the selected column order. That's just gonna change your order down here in your view, if that makes sense. So if you wanna see status first, or if you wanna see last updated first, you would change the order with these arrows. That's all that does. So it
You just
depends on,
highlight whatever you wanna move.
yeah.
And it'll make the, up and down arrow active, it'll turn blue, and then you can move them up and down.
Yeah, so I can move details up here if I want, and then hit OK, and it'll just change the order of these column headers. That's what those arrows do. Okay, and then again, if you haven't done it yet, go click on the blue highlighted, do drop down, home medications, all statuses, apply, and then wait. So another thing that we always try and stress that I hadn't mentioned is up here, this 0 minutes ago, this is your refresh button. A lot of times when you do stuff, you're going to want to hit the refresh to update its status and everything. Because you say, hey, I just did that, but I don't see where it changed. Just hit the refresh, and then it'll probably change its status. That makes sense. Okay. So now you're going to go back to your menu, and you're going to go to Quick Orders, which is up towards the top. Okay. When you go to Quick Orders on this over here is the 3 lines. It's again going to be a lot of your customizational settings. Okay. You're going to want to click on any of these, how you want to change your layout. So whatever works best for you. Some people read better left to right. Some want to go up and down in columns. I personally don't like all of these expanded like this, so normally the first thing I do is click expand all, then collapse all, so I can see them all this way. You can also change the order of them by doing this drag and drop right here. So if you click drag and drop, you can just move these around, these headings around, whichever works best for you. Okay.
So the Quick Orders page is more an ambulatory workflow. It's where kind of outpatient providers pull a lot of their orders from. If you're going to be inpatient, more than likely you're going to work out of Power Orders. And Power Orders is a separate component. So I know that there are several of you that are going to start inpatient. But these quick order pages, when you are out in the outpatient environment, there are different M pages. Like right now, Katie's got the ED quick orders, but depending on your workflow, if you were to be rotating through, a specialty clinic or whatever the case may be, there are several different ones that you can choose from. You're not limited as to which one you use to order from. You can click on any of the orders in any of those workflow pages if it's relevant to your patient. But for the outpatient, it was created as a kind of one-stop shop for very frequently used orders, so that providers don't have to actually search, or their searches are limited. Power Orders is a little different. It looks a little different, and it works a little differently. It's not an actual M page, and Katie can show that to you really quickly.
But before we go over there,
Next question.
yes.
On the left, you have that or menu.
Yeah.
Is there
Hang
a
on.
way to make that alphabetical?
There is not.
No.
Okay.
It's the functionality. There is some customization on certain versions of Cerner where you can kind of, but not covered. Okay. Unfortunately.
But again, if you are having a hard time finding something, you can click up here and just type the first 2 letters or so, and it'll jump to something.
Okay.
And if you want to change these views on your quick orders, you can choose one of the ones that are here, or you can go to select view, and it comes up with everything that you have access to. You can choose one of those. I'm just going to stick with ED. But again, all of your customization is going to have to be done for each one of those views. Okay. So the other part of this customization is not only can you do a broad one with the drag and drops, and you're going to want to unselect that after you are done moving everything around. You can choose the different components you see by clicking or unclicking with the check marks. You can add different folders, or you can clear all the preferences or what have you. And the layout, if you want to change the layout, you can do 1 column, you can do 2, you can do 3, 4, 5, however it's easiest for you. Then you can customize each of these components. And again, you have this little 3-bar thing. You can change the color theme. So say you want all, like I have a bunch of grays over here. You can change them all blue, all purple, whatever color you want. You can change them to all different color themes, however you want it. You can set it as to default expanded. So when we first got in here, I said I didn't like them all expanded, but I'm kind of lazy and I don't want to go through and click them all, so I just hit the expand collapse all. But you can go through and select to unselect it and say you don't want it expanded when you open it. And then the down arrow is just to expand it if it's already collapsed. I think that was it, right?
As far as adding a folder, what that means, you're able to save favorites, whether that be order favorites, medication. There is, when you're on the quick orders page,
Yeah, we are quick orders.
can you expand the new order entry?
Yep.
When you have favorites, you're gonna see them live right here, and you'll see your folders here. Some people are okay with clicking on the folder and then it opens up the information and you choose your order from there. Or you can actually make your folder, you can actually make it live on the quick order page, and that way everything is available. So, adding a folder, that's exactly.
So if I go in to add one of the folders I've already made, I can just hit select that, and now it's over here. I didn't put anything in it, I just made a folder. But when you put stuff in it, when you're making this folder, when you're making your favorites, it'll have those orders in there, just so you know. That's it for that. Any questions so far? No? Okay, then we're gonna move on to clinical notes. So again, on your menu, go down to clinical notes.
Let's show them power orders real quick, just so they see the difference.
Oh, okay.
So from the quick orders page, you have all those different components that have orders that you can select from. When you come to power orders, you actually click on this little blue add sign. It's giving us this message just because we're in a test environment.
Yep.
And when you click on add,
Give me a second, so it screened it.
populate information here. So you come up with this window here. One of the things that you'll see is on the upper right-hand side, you see the yellow, feature here. It will default depending on the encounter type that you're in. So if you're in an inpatient encounter, you're gonna see inpatient as the default. And then you'll be able to search for orders that are associated with inpatient. So, if you wanna click on inpatient. And then you have folders that you can choose from, or you can just start typing under the search bar, and you can search for the order that you need. You can look for individual orders, you can look for, order sets, and a lot of times the inpatient workflow is from this power order.
The big thing to remember from the search is make sure this says contains, not starts with. Because otherwise you're kind of giving yourself a handicap when you're searching. You'll have a hard time searching for stuff. Okay. So, you good, Brenda?
You can save favorites here as well. If you're okay.
Do you all know that what that yellow icon means? If you do, I want to tell you. Okay. All right, go ahead.
This one. All good? All right. So yeah, now we're gonna go to the clinical notes tab. To it. Really? That's why I always pin it. Where did you go? Pass it.
Do your CL.
Yeah, I guess it's good.
CL again.
There we go. Alright, so when you're on your clinical notes tab, go to documents up here, and go down to options. Okay. When you find discharge summary and patient care agreement in the available column, move them over to the right.
The clinical notes is gonna be the tab where you're gonna, review your information. So you're gonna be able to, this is where we were asking thinking about where you're going to do your first rotation, just so that you have the clinical note types that are associated with that area. There are some that we recommend that you have available to you in addition to the location that you're gonna be at. And that's what these first three are here on the right-hand side.
Are you guys gonna be doing admission? Okay, you want admission H&P too?
Okay. So yeah, grab that one and move it over.
Communication, obviously, on a paper.
Yeah, put communication.
I just had that for myself, sorry.
And it, you don't really need it, especially anytime you write a message, that's where, all messages go to the patient's chart. And then whatever service you're going to first, you're gonna search for them, so where are you all going? Where? Medicine. So click in the left-hand side, type in GEN. General internal med, you're gonna want I'd move them all over, but correspondence and patient on-call progress notes. You can double click or highlight and move the arrow.
Son of a biscuit.
You did them all.
I did, I gotcha.
So anyway, yeah, so that's general internal med. When you're done with general internal med, then remove them by moving them from right to left, and then bring in your next one. Does that make sense? Yeah, okay. Got it? All right. So discharge summary, admission H&P, patient care agreement. You guys aren't doing ambulatory. You might do them paid. When you guys did ambulatory organizer, did you by any chance set up their paid? No, location.
I heard you say they were talking about this. I don't know that.
No, we didn't set up, I told them they could set it up by location or by
Provider. Well, when
Provider,
they're
yeah.
paid, such space.
We have a couple of days of ENT clinic and then GI clinic, but it's not much. So I think that still has to be outpatient.
That is outpatient. So when you go to ENT or GI, you're gonna wanna pull over the initial visit and the established visit. But you don't need them right now, but you can bring them over now.
That's my next, I'm sorry.
So you're starting with GI, right? Click in here and type in,
Sorry, no,
I did all the gastroenterology and bariatric.
okay, are you gonna do just the thing? Are you gonna do, everything? Yeah, that's fine. And you do the
Yeah, all gastroenterology, bariatric.
That's it. Until you're ready, until you get your, remove that bariatric, the gastro, and then do the next one.
Yeah, I was going to.
Okay, so, okay. And then you can make
Yeah.
sure it's personal, I'm sorry.
You're fine. So once you do that, you want to go over to Power Notes. Go to your Add button. And here is where you're going to find those types you just moved over. And the yellow just means that it's a required field, just so you know, just like the red asterisk. So if you want to choose, say, communication, you can do that. Okay?
everything over.
Okay.
You said you moved everything over? No.
It moves.
No, it's showing, it's probably positioned.
Oh, okay. It's right.
So,
It's gonna go over
show
one more
the
time.
red, show
Yeah.
the air.
Yeah. So under this encounter pathway here,
Actually, right under.
Right click on the note type arrow, the drop down arrow. Right click.
oh yeah. Yeah, you just want to make sure it's under personal note type list. Make sure that's switched. Yeah, I was gonna
And
do
then
the other part.
sometimes
I
if
was
you're
skipping ahead.
working and it reverts back to the big list, just right click and make sure it's personal.
Yeah.
Sometimes things happen where you'll get reverted back to your position list.
I was skipping ahead to this part.
I see that, that's okay.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
All right, so you can collapse this if you can't see, like I can't right here. You can hit this little hide note details button. Under search, type VCU. Health. And then hit your little binoculars icon. You're gonna wanna move every single one of these to your favorites. So you can either click and hit add favorites individually, you can hold control and click each, or you can hold shift and click the bottom one to highlight them all and hit add to favorites.
So when you were asking about templates, so the note type just basically identifies what type of note or correspondence or whatever that you're doing, so that when you're looking in clinical notes, it files it into that folder. These encounter pathways are actually templates of notes that are built, that are general templates that you can actually use for your documentation. So depending on where you're going, we start, these are built in the system, and our general ones, you may not need all of them, but at least it's something for you to start with. Chances are that whoever you're going to be working with, they're going to have a specific note type that they're using, and more than likely they're going to ask you to use the same one for consistency's sake. So you can find out from them which one they're using and then add that to your favorite. But these are just general ones that would allow you to just kind of see what's out there, and are tools.
Yep. And then if you go to favorites, you don't want the my completed notes only, you want your encounter pathways, and it'll show everything that you just moved over to your favorites. Okay? If you do the pre-completed notes, that's something, again, that you would have done here, but I do not have any. I only have a couple here, if you look. So, I do not have any pre-completed notes that are favorites. Any questions on that part? Okay, so we're going to go back to clinical notes. I'm going to show you a couple more things here. So your clinical notes are going to be sorted. You can sort them by type, status, date, performed by, and encounter. Okay? Now, if I hit this down arrow, it's going to expand that folder. And that makes it so it's always open. No, we haven't done that yet. Okay, but anyway, you can expand it and it'll drill down everything in that folder. Instead, some of them have extra folders within them, so you won't have to hit every single one. But the performed by is by the physician or the provider that has filled it out.
And ironically, they were able to get that one in alphabetical order. Figure that
Yes. Yep. So again, and then if you have something that is drilled open, you can just double click it to close it. Okay. The other part of it that you want to be able to do is to set your default to have certain folders or certain things that you're sorting by default open. So you want to go to Documents and Options, then go to your index default. Okay. So why is that?
You're fine. So let's say that you are, you're going to spend a significant amount of time in a specific locality, and you know that you're always going to want to look at surgery notes. Instead of having to always open the surgery folder or the inpatient folder and double click and find the folder, you can actually say, you know what, this particular folder type, every time I go into clinical notes, I want that folder to be expanded. So it's just a little bit less click. Because you're rotating frequently, this may not be something that would be useful for you, but if you find yourself in a location for a while and you don't want to constantly be clicking open, you could set which note type you want to default open, and every time you go to clinical notes, that folder type will be open, and all you have to do is choose the date that you want.
Yeah. So you want to find it over here, select it, and hit the over arrow for the ones that you want to default open. Okay. And if you don't want that, you can just hit the highlight again and hit it back over. Once you've done that, go ahead and hit OK. Y'all, let me know if you have any questions. I see a few people still looking. All set? Okay, so we're gonna go back to power orders. Okay, I'm sorry. Why does this say power orders? Gonna have to adjust the handout. This one says power orders instead of medication. Page 12.
It is, so we're doing the, adding the RX printer, is that where you're at?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. My brain is just like, it's the end of the day. Okay. The power orders, and then, place the medication order to be routed to the pharmacy. So this part I'm a little bit more shaky on
So
for.
because you'll be moving around, you're gonna find that you're gonna more than likely have to, especially when you're in multiple locations, you may have to find an RX printer if there's a prescription that for some reason you need to print for a patient. So, having a printer that's associated with a specific computer doesn't necessarily mean that you have an RX printer that's associated with your Cerner session. So this is what walks you through how to set up that RX printer. Unfortunately, Cerner didn't make this straightforward. You actually have to pretend like you're putting an order in order to save your RX printer. So when you get to the locations that you are going to be in, if you're going to be in multiple clinics and things like that, you'll want to make sure that you know the names of the RX printers so that you can save those to your favorites and have them available to you. But Katie's going to walk you through how to at least access where you can get that information.
So you can go to add, and then we have the handouts. I don't know if you guys have the handout setting up the RX printer and Cerner. You want to grab that? Okay, so we're gonna act like we're adding a medicine right now, okay, or medication. So go ahead and hit your blue add button, and then under search, just search anything. You can just do. I'm just gonna do acetaminophen. I'm gonna click on that, and then hang on, my split screen here is being funny. You can click on whichever you want, and hit OK. Can't use Banis anymore, can I?
You see, you can pull it from the corners, right?
No, I can't use Banis anymore.
Oh, we can't fire it up because of you. Oh, because,
Oh, you guys are all on the same patient, yeah.
Okay.
All right, so I'm just gonna show you real quick. That's not letting me do that one, so I'll try to
Just
use
do,
McKenna.
McKenna. Just do
Yeah.
McKenna.
All right, so let's show that. Killing me over here. All right.
And
Yeah.
of course, you're gonna get stupid.
Of course I'm gonna do that, yes.
You can sometimes get alerts that'll say you're placing an order, and this is a specific alert that you need to be with clinical decision support. Yes, I'm aware, I want to continue with the order, or thanks for the reminder, I'm gonna change the order.
Yeah. So once you click on it, if you don't get all of that, you can just hit done and to close out of that, and you'll have your, order here.
So actually, because I think because you chose, you need to choose an order that has, that you're actually going to be sending to a pharmacy.
Of course I do.
So, press that.
Yeah.
Let's do like, go back into that. Do acetaminophen again, but. What about the A?
It's just frozen.
Okay. The alternative, the orange printer.
It's just being,
But she is, that different prescription got it anywhere.
Yeah.
They have the window for the.
it was still thinking.
You know, it's not gonna pull anything because you're on a patient that has now a counter type. There you go. But do the, acetaminophen coating too.
Another user is in it.
Let's do a different patient. So of them. I'm trying to think, why are we not getting the right one?
Yeah. Why is it
See
wrong?
if you can fill up Cerner Coach. Like that, XA and AM. Okay, and do like 2 milligrams.
Give me a sec.
It was giving me pop-ups.
Just so that's to see the little window for the RX printer.
There it is, finally.
The prescriptions weren't coming up that way. They were coming in with like the infusion.
Yeah.
Because of the, because.
Alright, so now that you have this, if you get the right thing, you hit the select routing, and then you're gonna wanna go to other.
So if you already had RX printers that you had available to you, you would see them on this drop down.
Yeah.
If you needed to add additional ones, that's where she's taking you now.
The ones I have loaded are from a different location.
Okay, so we're not actually changing anything, we're just
Add it.
walking through how to do it.
Mhm.
Right, exactly, because we don't know what the RX printers are for the locations that you're gonna be in.
So I'm just showing you,
Not there, and I can do it.
Right, so if you're there and you wanna make sure that the computers that are in the clinic should have the RX printer for that particular clinic. If you're doing a rotation other than just one location and you want access to another one, this is how you would have it.
but you click the drop down and select printer. And then, from there, select other output devices, right here. You're gonna wanna scroll to the bottom of the list, okay, and select unknown. So yes, this is not easy, it's a roundabout way. You wanna find your printer here, so if you know that it's gonna start with 2 or 3, then you can, go down, or AC, or what have you, and just find your printer.
When you do this, make your device name column wider so you can see RX, so between device and location. There, anything that has an RX beside
Your
it is
printer.
RX
Yeah.
printer, yeah.
But anyway, after you select it, so you find it, you right click it, so I'm just gonna do this one, even though it's RX, and you hit add to favorites. Okay? After you've done that, go ahead and hit OK. But since you don't know them yet,
How did you get to that page right there?
this one,
Has this medication in here, and.
so it's on your details. If you look down on the bottom,
No, it is not, actually, let's do Playmate again. Let's go ahead and
what else did you check? Details.
Let's see, anybody else have any other questions real quick? All right. The one thing, here, I'll show you, while they're discussing something. You guys did the, results filter already, right?
Yeah.
Did you show them how to find the range? I know it's not on there, but Gwendolyn, did you show them how to find the range easy of a lab result?
Oh, no.
The overview one?
Actually, no.
No?
Can you open up a rotation? I just want to show this.
Yeah.
To them real quick so they know. And then go to results. Okay, so when you're in results, like I know, you probably know, if you double click the results, you're gonna be able to see the reference range, right? If you highlight it, the reference range appears down there on the bottom left, and you don't have to double click. I guarantee you, a lot of your attendees, when you're out and about in the environment, don't know that, you can show them, and they'll probably be like,
Because if you double click, you have this.
How does the newbie know more than me?
Yeah.
They're paying attention.
you'll be in good graces with them, that's one thing that they more than likely don't know.
Yeah. So,
Okay, so that's, yeah, all right, so I'm over here in here. That drop down with recent, there are 10, number 10 won't work. You can click on it all day long, and there's a glitch in Cerner that doesn't populate information for patient number 10 under recent, so you'll only be able to access one time.
and for,
Why is there non-patient view?
Have you been in Cerner before? Have you been
I
in and looked
personally
with,
have, but he said he has those things up.
you got recent in yours?
that is interesting.
Never been a.
Oh,
never
somebody's
been-
using your login and password, no.
I'm gonna say.
If I click this on accident,
For all the same stuff, like for all of us.
Yeah,
they're all the same.
You're all the same, and, okay, so
Provider, you're gonna establish a.
normally what happens is, this is just, I'm gonna say, it's an outage.
Yeah.
And that's by clicking.
And you start seeing
For
patients.
the patient.
Yeah, so, it's gonna be the last
Okay.
one.
And especially the recorded, so if there was ever any question about how long you were in the chart, if you have a date, basically, if you click in your like wrong patient, click out, you're not looking at information, you're not documenting again.
Yeah,
you put that before, but yeah.
There was a,
Okay.
but
For
if you
20
just
for
click
med,
that.
right? We're not doing anything either, right? That's just showing us how to reconcile.
Yeah, so we're not doing number 20, right?
Yeah.
So the reconciliation process is a little different between inpatient and outpatient. Same button, you're using encounters, right?
Are we-
However, with outpatient encounters, the providers will only make changes or address the specific medication that they are, taking care of. Everything else is just an acknowledgement that it's being used. For inpatient, every medication has to be accounted for, whether you stop it, continue it, prescribe it, using the reconciliation process for each one, regardless of whether you're looking for a hospital.
Am I, not going over that?
You move over.
Am I not going over that? Doesn't,
But it's just, but to let them know where they would get it from, and maybe open it up so that they see it.
okay.
If it's part of here.
All right, so yeah, so if you double click this, you'll get this range, or as she said, just highlight it, it's on the bottom. So if you look up here, I have 3 patient charts open. You guys will only be able to do a max of 2, just because of my access, so don't pay attention to that. Okay? All right, so we're done with this, right? We're done. Yeah.
It could be because it's a patient.
All right, everybody straight?
Go ahead.
Everybody good?
So where are we on the, handout? What
Number 20, page 13.
Page 13.
Yep. We have an hour and a half.
So they're here till what time?
They're here till 3:30.
So we have an hour.
Right, so they did that. The med reconciliation, we don't have to go over that.
Okay.
I don't, what I'm gonna say about med reconciliation is you're gonna learn more how to do that when you're out on the floor. But if you wanna know, there is a job aid and e-coach.
I printed them out.
How to do it, but basically inpatient, when you admit a patient, you're gonna say, yes, they're still taking these medications, what I prescribed. You're gonna do all of that. When you do a discharge med reconciliation, if you discharge a patient, clean up the medication list first. And by that I mean, they're no longer taking this, remove it, just continue the medication. Because if you have a smaller list of medication on med reconciliation, then your, discharge reconciliation will go a lot faster. And that, you just hit the button. Discontinue, or continue, or make a prescription. Okay, it's easier for you to actually do it when you're in the environment that I'm trying to play around on a test patient.
And one of your handouts tells you how to do the med rec conciliation, so, All right, so now we're going to skip ahead to page 14, start the next session. If you go back to get out your patient's chart, click the X on their little tab. There you go. So it's going to bring you back to home here. If you click up on Message Center on the top, essentially the same thing but without the ambulatory organizer. Okay. So your personal address book. Where am I going here? Huh? No.
On your patients, open up just open up your patient. This is the easiest way to do it. So when you're in a patient, you can actually send a message or a reminder or whatever. And how you're going to do that is you're going to go to the communicate button up here on the toolbar. Okay, and you're going to choose a message. How your personal address book. Those are patient polls and providers and nurses and things that you're going to communicate with. How you're going to do that when this opens up. In the to button, you're going to start typing in doc. So do you know anybody you're working with right now? No one. How about you? Do you know anybody yet? Who? You could do that. Sean McKenna, if you're ever going to pediatrician. That's what I want you to do is I don't want you to add it. I want you to right click it over here and I want you to say add personal address. Okay? That's all I want you to do. Now click in the to button, the to field, and see how his name shows up. Well, here he is. Okay? That's how you do your personal address. People that you're actually going to communicate a lot to, add them so you don't have to keep searching. Another thing, if it takes you a long time to find someone, once you find them, add them so you never have to search again. Right?
Yeah, so you're just going to go in when you go to your 2 and hit, I'll go back to, I think I'll do Dr. Ty again. Let's search. Come on. Of course, why did it show up this time? It showed up instead of.
Hit the binocular.
I did, but it just did that instead.
Right. Can you right click from there?
Add as favorites. So if it just shows up, you can do add as favorites if you get your search. But before when I did Dr. McKenna, it just, it gave me the other search box. So, do either way. You just right click and hit add to favorites. Okay? So we're going to get out of that. My chart went down here.
If you want to send to a patient, you just click to consumer.
Yeah, if you want to add it to their chart and send it to the patient too. So if you want to send it to the patient, you hit to consumer.
If you try and click on to consumer and it's dithered, it's grayed out and it doesn't give you an option to, then that means the patient is not enrolled in the portal, so you can't send them a message.
Yeah, so let me, I'm working with that. So yeah, so if you do, see how I can't click to consumer right here?
Yeah.
Nope, sorry, you can't. There we go, split screen again. So this is dithered out, so I can't click this at all because they're not in the patient portal. And the way you know that also is on their banner bar up here. It says it's offered and invited, but it doesn't say that they're enrolled. Okay? Does that all make sense?
I have a question, I don't know if you have any control of this. My name is spelled wrong in the system, is there a way to fix it? HR.
HR.
You can try your program coordinator to see if they have a shortcut that will get you to HR, make it change, but if not, then it's HR on the system is credentials wrong.
Mine happened the same way because the way my name is spelled is K-T-Y, so I kept trying to do Kathy, and that's my mother-in-law, so I kept getting her emails. So that was fun. So yeah, you gotta go through HR.
My middle name, I have a different female name.
Yeah. What else was there? Okay, I set it here. So if you want to set up yourself or someone else as your proxy, down to here in your message center, you can go to proxies right here and click manage. So say you're going on vacation or someone else is going on vacation, they want you to monitor your, you want them to monitor your emails or they want you to monitor theirs, you can do the thing. Let me resize it. Sorry about the problem with the projector, y'all. Yeah, it's not gonna let me do anymore. Anyway, so proxies given by me, this is if you want to give someone access to your message center or your emails. Received, this is if you're getting them from somebody, okay? When you go in here, you want to hit add, and then you can put in your username or the other person's name, depending on if you're giving or receiving. So if I just put, hit search, see, this is the problem. Yeah, hit okay. And then you can grant all of your accesses through, or their access through here. You click on what you want, work items, normals, document, and you hit grant. Or you can grant all access. It's up to you guys, or give it to yourself. And then once you're done and it's over here, you would just click OK.
It defaults to a 30-day, access, so it's something that you were gonna set up for longer than 30 days. On the lower left-hand side,
Right here.
you would wanna change, the end date. You
can't, but it is.
Okay, there it is.
Yeah.
You would wanna change that end date, so that way
Yeah.
it doesn't expire on you.
And if you don't want to try and do the math, you hit this down arrow, you get a nice little calendar. You just click the day. So, and this is your time column. Anytime you have a time and date column, you can just type the letter T for today or N for now for the time, so you don't have to type in the time or try and find the date. Okay? So that's setting up proxies. Same basic process for pools. If you're going into a message pool for a specific area, you want to hit manage. Wait for it to come up. Come on. Uh-oh, it froze. There it is. Alright. So again, you want to choose the pool that you're opting into, and then you just select it and hit opt-in, okay? And then you can look at details or what have you, or you can, if there's something over here, like a pool you want to leave, you can click on it and hit opt-out. But then, just hit okay when you're done.
So when you guys get into the clinic or PACE, you're gonna want it to opt into their clinical pool and their clerical pool to be able to communicate either with the front desk staff or the nurse. And that's how you would do it. Just ask when you get there what the name of the pools are, and they'll tell you.
Again, there we go. But, so I just type P to go over here to see if we can get, so here's your PACE clinics. You would just ask which one to be a part of.
And then, and then there will be a now PACE clinic too.
Yeah.
Okay.
So those are your proxies and your pools. Any questions on that in general?
What is,
So,
so in Cerner, your inbox is like your personal email, Cerner email. For lack of a
Right
better
here.
word. The pool is a multiple user, message box. So if you have a clinic, let's say you've got patient access reps that are kind of monitoring messages that are coming from patients or other providers or referrals. Multiple people can be in that pool. The idea is that if it goes to one person's inbox, then that one person is out for a week, that message is not being accessed by anyone. So a lot of the clinics will have a clinical pool for clinicians to access and a clerical pool for the front desk staff to access. So that's kind of the idea, that it can be managed by multiple.
and different pools and different proxies will have different folders on this side. If you're in a pool, you want to make sure you're sending any messages or receiving from that pool versus from your personal inbox. Because when we get into, if you ever have to worry about direct messaging, that will be something you have to really be careful of where you're sending it from. Within each of these, you're going to have different filters as well. You have your how often you want to see it. So you want to see messages from the last 10 days or the last 90 days, and those are within each, and you can set up your different displays and whatnot. And if you're in multiple, if you're proxy for multiple people, you choose which one you're there. If you're in multiple pools, you choose which one from that list. And then this one also has other filters, so when you're in a pool, you can assign and unassign different messages. Any questions on that? No? Okay. Next is problem list. So in your quick views, we have consolidated diagnoses and problems as one of your components. If you just click the header on any of those components, it'll take you right to that section in the chart. Sometimes it's faster unless you know exactly where it is on the menu. So in your problems list, you'll have all these different problems for your patients and whatnot. Did you want to add anything specifically? You can add.
So, you guys know the difference between a diagnosis and a problem, right? Okay, so problems are chronic, and everybody, the whole clinical team should actually be maintaining the problem list and making it as robust as possible, okay? So that display as feature down right underneath the word problem there in yellow, you can actually change what the problem is to make it more descriptive, to make people, other clinicians looking in the chart to understand maybe a little bit better. And so maybe you want to put in hip replacement, so you do historical hip replacement, but maybe in display ads out there, you want to search for hip replacement. What is replacement?
Help if I don't have fat fingers. Oh my
You
God.
guys are anesthesia, not, forget it.
Okay.
Don't do that one, I'll do my normal one. So, maybe the person has some cardiac stuff, right? So you might put in CHO, right? Congestive heart failure. But if you're, like, looking in the patient's chart, or the nurse looks in the patient's chart under display ads, instead of saying congestive heart failure, you could actually put Cabbage 2010 5 step, which means a lot more clinically than just congestive heart failure. You're actually giving a description of what's going on, and it makes it adequate plan. That's how you can use this right now. So think of an anesthesia. Eventually, when that's my anesthesia, you're some kind of pull over. But the first 11 months, kind of think about that as when you're documenting the chart to give everybody else a picture of the problem with the patient. But you can't say, it takes you a while to find one, you can't say one is a favorite if you need to. So if you just hit, you can do that way, do search.
Hang on, give me a second to pull it over.
Okay, so you can pick whichever one you want, you can you can highlight it. See where it says add the favorites down there at the bottom. And then if it's a problem you use all the time and it took you a long time to find it, either from an anesthesia or surgery or whatever, that's kind of what it'd be easier if you just did that. But no, anesthesia and surgery stuff does pull over into the procedural history based on whatever surgeries they have. Okay, that's about it for problems.
Cool. All right, moving back to Message Center, okay? So if you don't have it open still, just go ahead and click back up to Message Center up here. Back here. So communicate, message. What am I missing? So anyway, so you're going to have your patient name in here. If you're already in the patient's chart, when you're writing a message, it will fill out the patient demographics. Your two, we already went over that. Obviously, your CC, your provider, the provider associated with that patient. The to consumer is to send the message to the patient as well. The include me, you will get it in your inbox. The subject is a drop down, so you can choose from your drop down here. Save to chart, the message will save to chart in the clinical notes under communications if you click this box. We typically make sure this box is checked. Okay? And again, you can save as communication or what have you from this drop down. Okay? If you want to attach any documents, you can attach documents here. The transition to care, you can browse documents. So the browse documents is from their chart. The other attachments is from the computer that you're working on, a saved file on the desktop. Okay? And then you can type your message, and in a later thing we'll go over all of the templates and the dot phrases and such like that. You can have your actions down here with, hey, call me with the results if you have anything. When you are in the patient's chart, you can actually input results to the message. But again, that'll be at a later date when y'all go through a bit deeper on this, if that makes sense. Okay? Another thing you can do, if you go down to results, and I went to communicate here, and I said message. Where is it, Brennan?
What do you
The message, the results.
So if they wanted to drop some results, the easiest way would be actually
The
to
highlight.
write a patient letter.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
So go to communicate.
Yeah, patient letter. Oh my gosh, I just double screen. There we go. So there's your add results button. And you can click what you want, and again, you can change your date range and all of that, so you can get all of your results. So you click the ones that you want, you can include selected, select all of them, and then you close it, and it'll be within your message here. Okay? And for the patient letter that we were just looking at, you can have it printed out, you can have it mailed that way, you can have it emailed, you can have it done all three, either way that you want it. Okay? All right, so we're gonna move on to iView next if you guys are comfortable, good, have any questions? No? Okay. So iView,
So it's viewing information from iView. So they may not necessarily need to go into iView, but they'll want to see the information that's documented with bedside data and files.
oh, you guys don't go right through
They
all
as
that?
providers, I mean, we could show you iView. iView is where the documentation, nursing pretty much lives in iView. This is where they do all their assessments and vital signs and things like that. If you ever found yourself needing to re-enter specific vitals that you wanted to double check, if that was within your scope, we can show you iView and where you would go.
How about like viewing vitals over time? That would be, that'd be iView, that's like.
So,
That would be the results over time,
That
wouldn't it?
results in
right,
vitals.
Yeah, no, we never.
okay.
The only time you might need iView is if you need to see exactly what it is. It's an easy way to go to it.
Yeah, and bedside data and vitals, which she can show you, also populates information from iView.
Yeah.
So for a provider to just be able to see what's been documented.
So it's a menu, bedside data, and vitals, it's right here. You can use the navigator, get that back over here, in order to go through all this. So if you just want to see vital signs, you can jump right to vital signs. If you just want to see measurements, it'll jump to measurements, or you can scroll through. It's up to you, but this navigator makes it a heck of a lot easier. So yeah, you just click on it, it'll bring it to the top of the page. If you want to re-enter something, so say we go to vital signs, if you want to enter this here, you can click on that.
You can't document from bedside data and vitals, they have to go into iView.
Huh. Again, this needs to be updated. that's why I went there. But yeah, so you would have to go into iView and do it if you wanted to do it, but,
We, as CBAs, have, a lot of different
Yeah.
bands that are available to us. Chances are, when you log in, you're not seeing this many bands, so
it's hard for me to navigate through what you guys are gonna,
probably have a provider view that you could go into.
yeah.
Very easy way to find
It's very easy way to. So like when you're on the results tab, or if you're on the, in your quick view pages, you can do some trending. So like, let's say, this is an outpatient encounter. Go to,
Yeah.
the ambulatory quick view page really quick. But I think you can do it from results as well, but.
Yeah, I would did it from results.
So like if you're here and you click on BP, or the vital signs, and then you go to,
It's coming, yeah. Yeah, it came up on the other screen.
it grabs it for you, so you're able to see, some information here. I believe you can also do this from the results section. It has a
Yeah.
little graph icon,
can.
and you can multi-select and have comparisons. So if you're looking at the lab values and you want to see the trend between the two different ones, just click on them and then hit the graph button, and it'll graph it for you.
Yeah.
Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Where are we now? Alright, we're getting into a bunch of different stuff, so, yeah, any other questions? No? Okay, we're gonna go back to medication list. What were you trying to get with this one?
The related results. So on page 15, it talks about related results. It's difficult for us to do it on a test patient, but when you're putting in an order for a patient, if there's something in the system that's programmed to trigger some information for you for clinical decision support, you'll see that come up on the left-hand side. Let's say you're putting in, I don't know, an order for a medication or for a lab value, an INR, a PT, or something like that. If there's information that's triggered, that should be triggered, that related result will come up so that you can choose, at least have an FYI, this is information we have related to this order, and it'll either confirm that you're ordering the right thing, or you can make changes. So that's one thing that you'll see, from when you're putting orders in.
Can't duplicate that.
And another thing is, results FYI.
Oh, that's up here.
Yeah, so if you are, you're seeing a patient and the patient is gonna be discharged, but you want information, you wanna kind of follow what happens on a result that might not be ready by the time the patient is discharged, you can subscribe to get the results of that, regardless of whether you put the order in or not. When you click on results FYI, as a provider, you're going to get a dialog box that gives you the option of subscribing for either results associated with this encounter, results associated with this patient, and then you can specify how long you want to be subscribed to get results, and those results will be sent to you in your message box. Once you don't need them anymore or the time expires, then you stop getting them. So if you want to just kind of get some information for a patient, the results FYI will allow you to subscribe to get copies of those results sent to you.
As an example, I went to my PCP a couple weeks ago. They drew a bunch of blood, ran a bunch of labs. Sleep doctor called, said, hey, your ferritin is low, so you need to go on an iron supplement. The only way he knew that was because of the subscription, our FYI, results FYI subscription. So anytime I have ferritin or certain labs run, he gets a notification saying that I had it run, what the results are. Doesn't matter which doctor ordered it. Okay. Okay. Anything else you wanted to go over?
Those are just the two ones that we really can't show because we're a test patient, and we're not finding a solution.
Okay.
It looks like the rest of the information right now is just kind of giving you some,
Give me some
some
basic
overall,
raw stuff that we've really already gone over. I mean, the only other thing is the navigational arrows. Each page has navigational arrows. You've used them a fair amount already over here, but you have your forward and backwards. So if we go to here, I can hit back on this navigational pane, and it'll bring me back to the page I was just on. Okay, and same if I hit forward, it'll bring me back to summary quick views.
If you click the home button, so depending on your, access in Power Chart, let's say ambulatory nurses, when they click on home, it'll take them to the organizer. As a physician, it may take you to your message center, so it has a default view for you. However, if you want to open your chart, every time you open a chart, you want it to be on a specific tab other than what was assigned to you, you can, change that on the table of contents. So when you're here on the menu, let's say that you always want to, you want the default view to always be the results tab. You can go to the results tab and
No, it's fine. It's pinning it.
right click on it
Yeah.
and set as your default view. So that way, every time you open a patient's chart, it's gonna open to you in your results view. And every time that you're navigating through the chart, if you click the home button, that's where it'll take you to.
Yep. And then you always have these little drop-down arrows as well that you can look at different things. So this is just the lab results. You can go through and look at other things. And then you have other navigational arrows. So this one will change your date time view up here. So yeah, just keep in mind all of that, and then also keep in mind your 0 minutes ago button, or however minutes ago, that's your refresh. So you want to click that as often as possible, especially if you notice that that timer is getting high on that. So another thing that we really wanted to show you is if you go to Quick Links, where's that overview menu? No, it wasn't Quick Links. Yeah. Sure.
What
The overview.
it's actually a separate tab,
There it is.
right above it, over here.
There it is. I was like right there. Okay, so if you go to overview, this will give you your overview of everything that's happened, like through the different encounters. Okay, so if you go to since last time, these are your laboratory orders from the over encounters. These are your medications through the different encounters. So you're not just looking at the specific encounter you chose, you're looking at all the other encounters as well. So the results over the different encounters. You know what I mean? The encounters in general, all the orders over your different encounters. So, hey, I thought I ordered this. Did I actually do it or not? You can look and see when it was ordered. You can hit the next button here to go, keep going backward. So you can see all of that right here at a glance if you want, so you don't have to try and click through encounters themselves.
Orders in Cerner, I don't know if you guys are aware, are encounter specific. So if you have a hospitalized patient and you wanted to find out, they say, oh, well, you know, the last time that I was here, my physician ordered so-and-so. The easiest way to do would be to actually just go to the overview button, and that way you don't have to guess at what encounter, you don't have to search for the encounter and change the encounter and look at the orders there and come back. Just go to overview and click on since last time, and it has lab orders, medications, other orders. Just look for the specific one that you're looking for, and then that way it's just easily retrieved.
And just remember you have the next button in case you don't see it here. And you can sort as well by oldest to earliest to most recent, or most recent to oldest by clicking that. Yeah, we can do chart search, yeah. Summary quick views. So in summary quick views, I'm trying to remember where that was, right here, right? Yeah, if you go to the magnifying glass, what did we do?
Yeah, so the chart search button is kind of like, we like to joke and say that it's kind of like the Google of Cerner. So if you're trying to search for specific information for a patient, you can either go to the overview and look for specific orders and things like that, or you can actually put in a word or a phrase, or if you're trying to look for a specific lab or something, do it here under, so that's just type in week.
Yeah, I was like, what was the term that we were looking at? And then
And
search.
you click on search. It's gonna give you this pop-up window, and it's letting you know this is everything on this patient's chart that has documentation of that specific item that you're looking for. So it's got results, it's got documents that may have that word or feature in it. And as you can see on the left-hand side, you can filter. You're looking at everything. I only want to see documents that have this information. I only want to view results. You can filter the specific time frame, newest to oldest. So if you're having trouble finding something in the overview, or let's say you know, a patient refers, says, you know, the provider that I saw, Dr. So-and-so told me that I needed to do this, and he told me that. And you wanted to try and find the note or that specific information, or he told me not to take my digoxin, he told me not to do whatever. You can try and come here and do the chart search, and it may give you, access to the information a little faster.
And you can add multiple terms here if you want to further narrow it down. And if you want to, again, expand it, just click the X next to the term you no longer want, just like you would, again, in Google. Any questions on that?
And that's from the quick view pages.
Yes, summary quick views. And then this magnifying glass down here.
Curious, actually, one of you that's lost that, let me check.
About to do two while
Did you show, some stuff like that already?
Yep.
Oh, okay, based on all of that?
Mine didn't do it, so we just explained it.
Okay.
And I gave real time. Okay. Oh. If at any point in time you guys have a question and you, how to do something, say how to discharge a patient, or again, to pull up some of these job aids that you guys have printouts of, all of these are actually within Cerner, and you can find them, print them out yourself, or just look them on your computer screen. You just go to View, and you go down to eCoach. Okay, eCoach is going to be one of your favorite resources, because that way you don't have to try and ask for how something's done. You can just look it up. You just click on your magnifying glass and start typing. So if we wanted to pull up the medication reconciliation, you just start typing, and everything that has that in its title will pop up. Okay? So these are all of our documents that are associated with medication. Okay? They are also, you can also filter it down by looking at the different things that it's sorted into. So iView, nursing optimization, perioperative, you know, all of these you can search separately. Why did it get rid of my provider, non-provider search option?
It might take them with the,
Yeah. Let me
review that, just the.
refresh real quick. It got rid of one of my
It's
view
done it for
options.
me as well.
All right, so you also, if you don't want to use that, you can just contact tech support here. You can look at additional resources from this, like the service desk and whatnot, and you can switch between provider and non-provider resources. If you don't want to do that, and you just want to keep it as is, you can just use your magnifying glass like I just showed you. But if you scroll down, there's some of them. There's more than what is shown, so you just click the view all, and it'll bring you everything that's within that topic. So you just scroll down, and it'll show you everything. Okay? Any questions on any of that? No? Okay. So your quick links, if you go into your patient, did I miss it? Where is it? Yeah, quick links. So each patient has their specific quick link. So if they have any radiology images, if they have any other scanned documents, such as insurance forms or what have you, because sometimes if they meet their out-of-pocket maximum, they'll scan in those documents. You can see them here. Anything like that will be scanned in here. You can look at different things within their patient-specific things. Clinical reference links are here as well. So you click on it, it'll just show you if you're looking up specific guidelines or what have you. Any screening tools, so you get your breast cancer assessment tool here. Your health system links as well are on here. So your on-call system, say you have to put in a ticket for anything, you would do the service desk web submittal through here. But yeah, any of these are just your quick links, quick references to help you do your job. And help you help the patient. So, and then for your toolbars up here, you might see all these, you might not, depending on your access, but if there's something, if someone says, hey, just click on this on the toolbar and you don't see it, you have these little arrows on the end. You can click down and you have all these other extra things that you can click on and find, okay? The other part was you can take away some of the toolbars. I'm
So
trying to
there are
remember.
three different,
Yeah.
sets of toolbars. There's a navigation, there's tasks, if you go to view. there's a
Toolbar.
Toolbar and navigation toolbar. So you've got links, action, and these notification toolbars. And so some people will say, well, I don't need this list of toolbar. You can unselect it, and that way you get more real estate, and you get one less line of toolbar up front, on the top, I should say.
So it took that one away.
Yeah. So but you have to remember that you made that choice so that in the future, if you're looking for something and you're like, I can't see that tab, one of the things to look at is to make sure that you haven't unselected that toolbar. So just a couple of troubleshooting things that you may encounter if you make changes. You just remember that you've made the change. Because a lot of times if you can't see information, it's more than likely related to a filter that you've got set or not set.
And another thing that's really cool, if you go back to summary quick views, where is the calculator? Did we say that mine was gone? Oh, it was over here. That's right. If you go to calculators, these are really, really cool. Where's the one that we did?
It's
The cardiology
you just
one.
click home, forget all calculators.
That's where it was.
So whatever type of calculator you're looking for, you can click the first letter. But if you look under state, so those are all the calculators that are there. Unfortunately, with this calculator, you have to enter the information into it for it to calculate what you want it to calculate. So you will have to, that's why you have the components on the left that say labs, vital signs, there's probably meds and some other things down there.
Documents.
To help you get easy access to information to complete the calculators. It is a very, it's brand new, and when you have time, if you can actually just see what's available, and then based off of anesthesia, what type of calculators that might be helpful for you all, you might want to go ahead and look at them.
What was that one that you,
Oh, it's cardiac risk calculator. It's on your menu bar. The one you added, did you go over that?
no, that's what I was looking for.
Yeah, it's on your menu. So on your table of contents, go over to it, scroll a little bit towards the bottom, and it's
There it is,
called
cardiac risk calculator. This one's really cool.
So this one, because it's on your menu, will pull in some data for you. It will say the stacks that will pull in the age. You would, based off of the knowledge of the patient, pick the race. You would choose if there was a cholesterol, LDL,
You said
or
do
blood
650?
pressure. Yeah, you could put in it won't let it. It has to be within 320.
No, all right, so we're gonna choose 320.
That's fine. So this information, if it's currently in the chart, it will pull in. If not, you can enter it in just like we're doing now. And then you're gonna answer the questions, is the patient a diabetic, are they hypertensive, and are they smoking, okay? Then if you scroll, it says show me the risk score. So this is kind of cool with, you can go over the patient. So if you scroll down a little bit more and get to the big screen, this patient has a 58% chance of having a cardiac event over the next 10 years. And you can say, now, if you quit smoking, your risk would reduce to 49. If you would take and control your blood pressure, your risk would go down to 14%. And it's a very visual for you to go over.
Take a statin, take an aspirin every day, and it shows how it reduces.
Might be helpful your first 11 months, not so much once you get into anesthesiology, but it's there for you.
It's just a really cool little tool.
Let's see, do we have anything else on our, I have a few things I could probably come up with.
Not that calculator, the other one.
The other calculators? Okay, sorry. let me, go back to normal view
Is
here.
there an anesthesia calculator or something that you all use? You all
The
know
summary
the
quick
name of it?
views, if you did this, so over here, cause mine's kind of dropped down, see the plus sign on yours over to the right on the top where the tabs are?
Right there. Put on the calculator. I have to change my screen so you guys can see it, otherwise it's gonna be half on the windows.
Half not, sorry. But yeah, so you just click the calculators, and then you click all calculators right here, and you can just say, need something here, anesthesia or what have you. I don't know if you have one. Doesn't look like you do.
Oh, you don't even have that.
You don't have
No,
one.
nothing. No.
So,
We can check for you.
What are you looking for?
let's see if there's, are you guys gonna be discharging your patients out of the hospital? Okay, so Brenda was gonna show you guys the new discharge process and how it's supposed to work. So, you to figure that out.
So just real quick, so we've been showing you kind of like the quick view pages. Cerner is going towards more of an M-page look. And our discharge process for inpatient changed recently, like 3 weeks ago. It used to be that providers would go up to the depart summary button somewhere up here and fill out an electronic power form. But now there's actually a workflow page that you work from. I'm sorry?
If you hit this,
Not for us,
it's not gonna save any.
for the,
That's discharge.
yeah.
So you always wanna.
So for the discharge workflow, you actually come to this discharge workflow page. And what they did is that a lot of the components that were within that power form are now living on this M page. And so this M page just gives the providers, and nurses have a similar view as well, access to information that you can use for discharging.
Did you find it? It's called discharge.
Yeah, so it's
Probably for you. As a provider, it's gonna be up to you there. Yeah, discharge workflow, yeah.
So everybody, she's on the discharge workflow.
Yeah.
So on your table of contents, under your summary review pages, you're gonna see discharge workflow. If you wanna just click on that, it looks a little bit different and acts a little different than the review pages.
So I'll go over some of the components. This is going to populate information as it gets entered in the chart. So I'll just review it really quickly. The reason for visit and chief complaint is going to come from the nursing admission form. But this information, if you wanted to add or delete, you can certainly do that. And it's a free text field. Once you made your changes, you would just click on sign. I'm going to unpin this main menu real quick just to show you. This also has a menu of its own, which is the components. This is the new discharge, yes, sir. The problem list will have information that's populated based on the problems that have been put into the patient's chart. It just brings the information face forward. Hold on a second.
You're fine, take your time.
Ooh, too much. All right. Discharge medication. So what you'll see when you come to the discharge workflow page, as providers, there are going to be 3 components that will have a red asterisk if they haven't been completed. The problem list needs to be addressed in order for that green check mark to come. But again, there should be information on there. The discharge medication reconciliation, you can either do it from this workflow page or from the medication list, but it has to be done in order for the green check mark to be there.
So like I said earlier, when we had that stuff that was highlighted in yellow, anything that is highlighted in yellow or has a red asterisk is required before you can sign anything or release anything.
And then the order profile is driven by the discharge order. As long as there's a discharge order, then that check mark would be there. So these components are going to be a lot for your review, depending on how involved you are in the discharge process. But 2 things that I wanted to show you. Providers indicate that they start building the information that they'll use for their discharge note and or possibly patient instructions, usually within the first few days of the patient being admitted. So the hospital course is one section where you can build information that eventually you can tailor and pull into your discharge summary note. This is like a a Word document, so it's free text, or you can use dot phrases. you're gonna be, you become familiar with dot phrases, but I'll show you an example. They built a lot of different ones specifically for the discharge workflow. So let's say you wanted to give patient information about crutches. Not that you would, but you would double click on that, and these templates were created with general information, and then you can tailor information, you can add, you can delete depending on what you want. This hospital course, like I said, eventually when you go to document, if you so choose to use this discharge summary note, this hospital course information will be there. So every couple of days, if you're seeing a patient and you wanted to add information just on how they're doing, to kind of keep tabs, you would do it from the hospital course section. Patient instruction section is a shared field. So if, let's say, attending anesthesiology, respiratory, PT, OT, speech, anybody who's laying hands on the patient during their hospitalization and who wants the patient to have information for discharge will enter that information in this patient instructions section. So it is multi-contributor. You just need to make sure that if there's information already on there, when you go to type, just be mindful of where your cursor is, and you can enter your information here. When you enter your information, just make sure that you save.
So can other team members see this if it's in progress?
Yes, they can. And they can delete it, they can modify it, so it's just, it's just being mindful of somebody else's information. It's one of the things that we've heard post-go live, the concerns that this information can get deleted, but it's just being mindful that it is a multi-contributor field. But yes, the hospital course, anybody that has access to this discharge workflow would be able to see any information that you're putting in about hospital course and things like that.
And then if you're trying to do this discharge MedRec from the flow.
Yeah, so if you are in the discharge, here, so you'll see here, right now I'm on an outpatient encounter, but another inpatient encounter, you're gonna see the word inpatient. You can just click on there and it'll open up your medication reconciliation component, and I have to move it because this split
So
screen.
mine says history, cross-counter, discharge.
Are you on a discharged encounter?
She's not on any,
She's on that, the account.
So let's say that we're doing the discharge, then you would click on discharge, and then it would let you reconcile for the discharge. And then it brings you up to speed, medication reconciliation. In case there's anything that you type on this other part, we can do up to no, then once you're done here, you would just click on reconcile and sign. And then when you come back to the component, you can refresh that specific component, and I'll show you where so that you see the updated
Information. So once you did your medication reconciliation and came back, you can just click on refresh this component here, and it'll update the information. What you have is that the patient instructions, I don't know that it's gonna let me on this laptop, which is a pain. When you're on a regular sized computer, the patient instructions and the hospital course, there's a little section here that'll let you detach that so that you actually see the patient instructions on this side, and you can still have access to the other components on this side. And I wish that I could do it, but I can't do it on this laptop, and it's really annoying. Yeah, no, I can't, oh, that's so annoying. But you'll see that it's a little box, and then it basically just tears away the patient instructions and starts a little column here. So you can be typing there, but you can still, I don't know that,
What do you need?
yeah, I'm trying to see it. I've never been able to make it.
100%, that go to 75%.
Oh my gosh, where are you?
Right above,
Let's see.
yeah, go to 75.
Have to refresh.
Okay, refresh your minutes ago, whatever.
Oh my God, where's this? I hate this laptop. No, I still can't do it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, which is a pain. But, so this is still, you know, a lot of people, like I said, nurses and allied staff and physicians are using it. The patient discharge instructions are actually generated by the nursing staff, so they just have a different view. They have similar components, just not as many as the physicians do. So the nurses, yeah, no, I know. The nurses are able to generate the patient instructions that actually go with the patient. The providers cannot. However, the providers can generate, oh, for the love of computers.
Just pin it.
If you click on discharge summary note, it's letting me know this is a test patient. I haven't completed the problem list or whatever, so I'm just gonna bypass that. The discharge summary note is also new. It's dynamic documentation versus power notes. It's a different type of documentation that learners come up with. And so it's pulling in information. So that you see here, the hospital work information would be here. It pulls in medication lists. Discharge plan will pull in information from my care coordination and social work and things like that. So the right-hand side is pulling in a lot of information. The admission date, the date of discharge is basically the date that you're creating the note. If you need to change that, you can. It'll bring it in the last set of vitals, the virtual history. And then the left-hand side is mainly for your documentation purposes. Not everybody has adopted this yet. It's relatively new. But if you guys want to kind of be the streamliners to headset.
Yeah, you might want to do like an.
Yeah, so it depends on where you're at. You may see some people delving into this, or you may see them just using power notes. But just so that you know, the discharge, you're gonna wanna find that discharge workflow, and that's where you're gonna kind of do your process. Build your kind of day-to-day, indicators, in the hospital course, and then any information that you want to generate for the patient to take home as instructions would be in the patient instructions section. Okay, you guys got a lot of information today. You have handouts. You have the service desk in case you have any, kind of concerns computer-wise. Sometimes they can troubleshoot certain questions. Our department is the OCT, and we provide Cerner support. So we have a dedicated email that you can email if you have questions that don't need immediate assistance and you just have an FYI question. It's oct@bcuhealth.org. And so that way you guys can reach out to us. And if you need something, if in a couple of weeks you're like, yup, you went over this, but I have other things don't hesitate to reach out.
And don't forget, you also have eCoach as well. So you can also look there for different step-by-step processes, like the ones that we've handed you on how to do various things that you might have a question on. If you come across something that you don't know how to do and you don't see a job aid on it, that's when you email or put a ticket in, and then we'll create a job aid for you, and we'll send someone out to sit with you at your, do at-level support one-on-one to show you how to do it. Okay?
All right, guys.
Is there a way to, if we just had to dictate, like, we can read that for an HPI,
So you would need to be there. They would have to be set up with Greg for petition, right? Because we're trying.
Yeah,
Yeah, so there is dictation here. It's through, something called, Fluency, which is a microphone, or actually you would use it with your cell phone.
Yeah, you can use it with cell phone, a microphone they give you,
Yeah,
or a
but
desk phone.
residents use, I believe, cell phone.
Residents use cell phone? Okay.
So Greg Covert, GregGcoverd, and contact him and he'll come and help you. Email him.
Email.
Email him and say, I'm a new resident in anesthesia and I would like to use Fluency for dictation.
So you can sign up for, you can log into UpToDate now if you guys want to, you may right now.
Any other questions?
Are there templates for like HPIs and things like that?
Power Notes, yeah, so
when we went into,
go to Power Notes and you would type in, huh?
Is there auto text?
There is, so, yeah, go ahead, Brendan, we'll show you real quick. Anybody else want that email?
oh, sorry. Ah. There isn't a, is there maybe? That's just those two specific.
Yeah, you start.
Yeah, and it's actually, which template exactly would you be
So
interested
I'm
in?
on admission agency.
All right, go to admission. Open it up. Okay, so
Pre-tax API.
go down to HPI and say, yeah, so you can go there and actually you can type in, type in BCU. But I don't think they have one for HPI. No, they don't. Okay, so you can create your own. Okay, and how you do it is you can do it right here in this note, just start typing, and then you put right click, and then right click, save as auto text. Or do you see the very last icon right above the blue line there that looks like a ruler and a piece of paper? Everyone to the right. That's your manage auto text. You can find it in Message Center, Power Notes, or Clinical Notes. If you click that icon, it's going to open up the manage auto text window. And then on the left-hand side where you see that blue plus sign, you can click that and then just start typing and making your own. The abbreviation is what you're going to call it. So that would be your dot something. If it's for anesthesia, I'd start it with A, like A-N, A-N-E, or A-N-E.
You don't need a dot.
Dot A-N, and if you, when you pre-tax, you just do dot A-N in here.
You would do, yes. So go ahead, do type it in and call this dot .an and then save it.
All right, so
So when you're in H&P, you would do dot .an, double click, and it's gonna pop in what it is, okay?
Yeah.
In that same thing, you can also do, not Power Notes, but never mind, I'm not gonna show you that. There is a lot, if you go back to the Manage Auto Text window. The other one, yeah. And go to, instead of My Phrases, go to Public Phrases. Give chance, look at them all, see what is out there. There is a wealth of auto text that already exist. If you find something that you want to use, there's attestation statements in there that you all are gonna have to use. You can save, you can like bring it in here and then highlight it and save it as your own and put it with your naming convention, so you don't have to remember and all your auto texts are all named to be grouped together. Make sense?
Okay.
Okay. The auto text is a really good, if you do .bcu and you can look and see, there are some for notes, there's like a BCU review of systems, physical exam, there's an outpatient note. You can go ahead and, you can look at them and see if you like them, fill in the information that you need to, and then save it as your own.
Okay.
Okay?
all right,
And if you have, like I said, if you have some time after your first 2 weeks or something, 3 weeks, a month, just reach out to us, we'll help you. You know, you just need to get in there and start taking care of patients and actually using it before we can help you, because then it will make sense what we're kind of trying to tell you,
Okay.
okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome, you
Are
guys.
Thank you.
are there any other questions? No?
Clear as mud, huh?
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it'll be great.
Thank you guys so
I
much.
don't know what to add.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. If you guys could just, hand over your,
So you're here for a while.
Right.
Not gonna be pros, you're gonna be teaching this class in another year.